Tawny is the English word for the color, like the caramelly, dark tea, oaky color. That's a tawny color. The tawny starts as a ruby, but it goes inside the barrel. Inside the barrel, the tawny, which is an older version of the ruby. Because the barrel is smaller, most of the wine is in contact with oak, so it becomes an oaky wine. A wine that looks like oak, that oaky color, and tastes like oak. Tastes like old, aged alcohol, kind of like cognac or brandy. Today we're going to drink a tawny. Tawny is the most common port wine in Portugal. It always starts as a ruby, but then it goes inside a little barrel. Does it make sense? Well, it will make even more sense after the tasting, the alcohol. Don't worry. This is not the biggest vat we have. The biggest vat is in the end of the pour. I'll show you. But this vat is not small either. You can actually park a real car inside. Well, yeah, it's a mini Cougar. It's a real car anyway. That means we have a lot of ruby here inside. How many bottles? How many bottles do you think we could fill with the ruby inside of this? How many bottles? If you had to guess. 30,000? Fine. 30,000. Will you more? Less? Less? How many? Well, it's not very confident. 10,000? 20? About 20? You know what? I don't know. But let's keep looking at it. I think, I don't know. Well, no. Nope. It's not a lot of wine. It's only 74,000 bottles. Port wine, which is not a lot. We bottle per year around 6 million bottles of port wine. Again, it's not a lot. There are cellars that produce a lot. Right? Okay. Here. The worst one was horrible. Oh my god, I still remember. It was in 1909 with 3 liters of water. What do you think happened to the rubies inside the bag? Was it spoiled? Did it get fishy, salty? Nothing happened to the rubies. If the wine doesn't come out, have a big vat, smaller vats, but just the same. This small vat is big enough for the wine to not become oaky, so it stays dark and tasting like wine. And then barrels. How do you know which type of wine is inside the vat? Which type of wine is inside the barrel? Let's start with the barrel because it's easier. Which type of wine is inside the barrel? Is it a ruby or a tawny? What's the type of wine? It's a very hard question. Ruby or tawny? Tawny. Oaky. This wine, today we're going to drink a tawny. This wine doesn't taste like wine anymore. It doesn't even smell like wine. It's a very like whiskey type of smell. It's very strong. Here we have the number of the barrel, the cellar, the rest of them, of course, the type of tawny, and then the liters. The number of liters is usually different because the ruby needs to be in contact with oxygen. For the wine to be in contact with oxygen, the barrel is never full. The wine is usually around here. Right? And here we have the name of the tawny. This is the most important tawny we have because it's the only one with a Portuguese name. We call it colheita. In this case, colheita 2000. Colheita is the Portuguese word for harvest. Harvest? 2000 means 2000. So this is the harvest. 2000 because it's made of grapes of the harvest of the year 2000. This is a single harvest wine, a single year. When the wine tells you the year, that means that it has a higher quality because the year was good, but the flavor of the wine depends on the year. You never know what to expect. I mean, you may like this one, and then you try the 2010 and it doesn't taste the same because the year is different. Most of the port wines are what we call a blend. Today we're going to drink white port wine. White port wine never tells you the year because it's always a blend. A mix of different wines to make a wine that always tastes the same. It's a recipe, a secret formula. It will always taste the same. Just like blend whiskey or Coca-Cola, the flavor is also the same because it's always a recipe. Most of port wines are a blend because you know what to expect. It's the wine people usually buy. These ones are expensive. The quality is higher, and you never know what to expect. The wine is always good, it's never quite the same. And the Harvest Tawny is the only port wine that can age for 100 years. Right now in this cellar, the oldest wine we have is behind you. It's the Harvest of 1958. That's a 62-year-old port wine. A bottle of a 62-year-old port wine could cost 400 euros. No? So far so good? Alright. How do you know which type of ruby is inside the vat? It's right here in the blackboard. There's a lot of info in the blackboard. There's the search number. This is like a computer kernel system number. Then we have this little code, BS. Do you know what BS stands for? That's kind of hard. It's Balseiro. Balseiro is the word for vat. So this is Balseiro number set. Vat number 7, the number is also in the vat. And then we have the liters, 3,700 liters of ruby, almost 4,000 liters. But this ruby is going to be called, so in the bottle it will be called Reserve Tawny. That's great. Reserve Tawny. When port wine is called Reserve, that means 7 years. But this one is a tawny, that means 7 years in the barrel. This ruby needs to become a tawny. You can actually see that this one is still a ruby because this here is real wine. This is the real color. Can you see? You can step closer if you want to look at it. Look how dark it is. Opaque, red. Tawny is transparent. Tawny is brown. It has like this color here. So this one is a ruby. Right here we have the liters. 37,100. And then these numbers, the 4, 5, 6, and 7, those are the number of small barrels you can fill the wine inside. Because the tawny comes out of a vat, this ruby needs to stay in 7 barrels for 7 years until it becomes a reserve tawny, and then the bottle. Because the tawny starts as a ruby. Right. Any questions so far? No? 10 minutes, we're all getting drunk. So let's go here. Alright, it looks like I'm trying to sell you wine, which I am, but I'm also teaching you about port wine, because port wines are easy to buy, they're everywhere. There are a ton of brands, there are so many brands, but then it's kind of hard to know what you're getting, because the names are in English, but the bottles that don't describe you the wine. Today I'll show you Calem. Tomorrow in Sandeman or Grams or Taylor's, you know what you're getting, because the names are the same for everyone. Right? Port wine, you don't drink it every day. It's too sweet and too alcoholic, right? Unless you have a problem, you drink it at Christmas, Easter, family party, to celebrate something. In theory, it's very easy to drink. White wine is an aperitif, an appetizer, so before the meal. Then with the meal, you have normal wine, which is not port. Ruby, dessert. Tawny, the oaky, digestive, after coffee. It's the wine that ends the meal. And then rosé, cocktail, summer, ice, friends, young people, market. It's a kind of weird one. We'll talk about it in the end. We start with the white because the white wine is easy. In Calem, we only do 3-year-old whites, which are the last ones in the bottom. The difference between them is the sugar, the sweetness. The only way that we have to guess to know the sugar content of the white wine is with the name, because the bottles, they will never tell. Red port wine, 100 grams of sugar per liter. The white and dry has 50. 50, that's still sweet. So the wine is not dry, it's sweet. The fine white is the semi-sweet one, semi-dry, the medium sweet. It has 90 grams of sugar per liter. That's okay. And then you have Lagrima. Lagrima is the sweetest port wine you can get. 180 grams of sugar per liter. It's obscene. It has so much sugar in it, it gets so thick, like syrup. When you swirl the glass, you can see the legs running down. Those legs are known as teardrop in Portuguese. And the Portuguese word for teardrop, Lagrima. You call it Lagrima because you can see the sugar in the wine. It's amazing. Of course, Lagrima is a white wine that you drink as a dessert wine because it's a bomb of sugar. Funny enough, white port wine is not common in Portugal. It's not very known. Lagrima is, because Lagrima used to be church wine, the wine of the priest. Right? I don't know why, because it's the alcohol. I don't see any other reason, because it's so sweet. And then we have rubies. We don't produce a lot of rubies. We do a lot of tawnies, the oaky one, that's the most popular port wine. But after we age the wine here in the cellar, the white, the ruby, the tawny, and the rosé, we filter the wine. Port wine is filtered. There's no sediments of the grape inside. That means that the wine will not age in the bottle. You can keep a bottle of port wine in your house for years, for 10 years. The wine stays the same, but it can lose quality, right? But because it's filtered, after you open it, 6 months or 1 year to drink it. That's why you don't drink it every day, because this is like a liqueur. The most important wine, however, the ruby, called vintage, that's the only wine that is not filtered. Because it's not filtered, it will age in the bottle. This is the only bottle that you have to take home, lay down for as long as you can. 20, 30, 70, 100 years. The wine gets better because it's in contact with sediments of the grape. You have to age it for as long as you can. And then before you die, you open it, you filter the wine in your house. You have to filter it because the sediments